Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Andi. Today, we're going to dye this skein of yarn in a gradient of colors inspired by the fall trees. Normally a gradient like this would be, you'd have a section that's yellow or gold, then moves on down to a section that's orange, moves on down to a section that's red. We're going to mix it up a little bit this time. Because you also get those little pops of green and, from the leaves that haven't turned yet, and brown from the tree trunk and the tree branches. So we're going to have the sections of the yellow or gold and the orange and the red, but we're also going to have, intermediary sections between them where we mix the current color and the next coming color in sort of blotches, and then little specks of green and maybe some black or brown going through there too, just to get the whole feel of the palette, and maybe even some little speckles of green or black all throughout all of the gradient, just to get that whole feel. What do you think? Does that sound good?
That should be really pretty when it's done.
Yeah, I hope so. Fingers crossed, because as you can tell by the fact that I'm in my coat and I've got my sleeves pulled all the way down, it's getting really cold here in North Carolina, and I need a scarf or a shawl or something. Okay, I've got some anymore. So, all right, first thing I need to do though is, I should probably tell you what yarn we're using today. Chad, do you know which yarn we're using today?
This is a dye or supply or Skein?
It is. Yeah, I was digging through my stash and found I actually have a ton of dye or supplier yarn left. I know I had mentioned before that I thought I was using the last skein of a certain yarn that I have from Dye or Supplier. I don't remember what that one was because I have slept since then. But yeah, I do still have a bunch of Dye or Supplier yarn, which I was really excited about. As I mentioned, I like getting yarn from Dye or Supplier. I'm sad that they closed. This particular skein is their 75-25 superwash. It is, Chad, the label's over there. Can you please read it off for the people in the internet land? Because I can't remember and I just looked at it like 5 minutes ago.
75% merino and 25% nylon.
It is 415 yards.
That's correct. How many grams?
100.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because it's a standard skein, it's 100 grams. All right. The first thing that I need to do is I need to separate out this skein into our different sections for our different colors of the gradient. So y'all come on in and I'll get to work on doing that. And then we can dye the yarn. Okay. All right, so the colors that we're using, they are off screen. Unfortunately, this is the best we could do to fit everything on screen, but we're using gold ochre, Aztec gold, fire red, orange that we mixed up, a custom blend, and Garnet, which is also a custom blend that we mixed up, as well as green and brown, also custom blends. We've got 9 sections. This is actually 2 skeins of the yarn, and we've got 9 sections. They are all the same number of yards, except for this one has a little bit more because I had like a third more of the yarn left over. It wasn't enough to do another section. And I was not going to go back and pre-white all of these to divvy it out among them. How we're going to do this is we are going to hand paint this with brushes. Gold ochre, which is our lightest yellow on this one, Aztec gold on this one, and this one in the middle is going to be a mix of the two. And then this one's going to be orange, and this one is going to be a mix of the Aztec gold and the orange. This one's going to be fire red. This one's going to be a mix between the orange and the fire red. And this one's going to be a garnet, with this one being a mix between the fire red and the garnet. And then the green and brown we've got just to put a few little blotches throughout to give that little bit of extra of the green leaves and the tree bark to really bring it into looking like autumn as opposed to a fire gradient. Each of these jars are 40 milliliters of our 1% dye stock, just topped up with some extra water to give us plenty of room to work.
About 2 cups.
Yeah. The yarn has been soaked for days. Time got away from us. Had only intended to soak it for a couple hours. life happens. It's been soaked in just plain tap water, no citric acid, nothing else. We've squeezed most of the excess water out of it, and they're just laying in these foil trays without any water at all. So, because we don't want the colors to bleed over from one section to the other too much. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's start doing this. And just like when we did this with the yarn blank for our Halloween mega adventure, this is just going to take a little time.
But I guess while we do this, Andi can think of what music she's going to dub over it.
Yeah, I'll be speeding this up and dubbing. And we will be flipping these over to make sure that we get plenty of coverage on everything. Now we're just gonna let them sit and cold process for a while.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. All right, our yarn has been sitting out here overnight, and now comes the tricky part. Now we have to set the yarn. And it's only tricky because I don't want to put them all in the crock pot at the same time because I don't want the colors to blend. So we're going to do this for the most part, one at a time. They're each only going to have to go in there for about 15 minutes. We've got the crock pot over here with some hot water with citric acid in it. And I'm going to start with the first skein. It's just tricky because each of these skeins are attached to each other.
So we need to scoot this one down too then? Or?
Just a little bit. All right, and I want to put the lid on, but I don't want it to pinch this strand here. So I'm going to put the tongs right there. It'll help keep some of the heat in there because, of course, it's December and it's a little chilly out here in the garage. But we don't want to risk it burning that strand or anything. All right, gonna give this about 15 minutes and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. Time to switch to the next skein. Here, can you hold this?
Sure.
Careful, it's warm.
Okay, not too hot then.
All right, and pull this out. Why you do that to me? It's difficult enough, Skein. It makes it steamy. And no color in our dye bath. Now, we talked about it, Chad and I, and we decided we're going to go ahead and set these two together. Because this one is a blend of the light yellow, okay, of the gold ochre and the Aztec gold. So it's okay if a little bit of that Aztec gold darkens up this one. We just didn't want any of the Aztec gold darkening up this lightest yellow. So you can take that. All right, and then I'm telling you, it's
like juggling cats.
We do not juggle cats. That would be very wrong. And I'm going to put this strand down in here too, because it didn't really get that much. So, all right.
You got your tongs.
Get my tongs. And once again, lid on. And normally I'm the one making the mess. Okay. Stop laughing at me. It didn't go any better for you, did it?
I'm laughing with you.
I'm not laughing. I'm stressing out. All right, lid's back on. We're gonna go for another 15 minutes and then we'll come back for the next one. Another 15 minutes. We're gonna take this yarn out. Where are you?
It ate the other zip tie.
It didn't, it's in there, I see it, it's just hiding from me. Don't be shy. The people on the internet are nice. Do you want to move that one out of the way a little bit for me? Thank you. Put this one over here. Yep, dye bath is still clear, but it's not going to stay that way.
No?
No, because of this skein right here. This is supposed to be our orange, but it's looking a whole lot of salmony pink to me. I don't know how it's looking on the camera, but in real life, yeah, it is a whole lot of salmony pink. And if you look at the water that's in the tray here, you can see that there's some yellow to it. So I think the cherry red that was in that mix struck really good, but the yellow didn't really want to. So we're going to put some more of the yellow from that mix into our dye bath, and we're going to set these two together. Because this one, where it should have some of the orange as well, because it's a blend of the Aztec gold and the orange, it's also got that salmony pink. So we want to shift those colors. We're going to see if we can shift them to orange. 10 ml of the bright yellow in here. And that is from our 1% stock solution. Oh yeah, that's such a pretty yellow.
Already got some on there.
Okay, then we're going to take these two skeins and very carefully put them in here. Now this might take a little bit longer than the others because we're not just setting this. At this point, we're actually wanting it to pick up some dye. And we want to let this come at least as close to exhaustion as we can before we do anything with it. Dad's like, put the tongs, put the tongs. It's 1:49. We will check this at 2:05. So it's been about 20 minutes and our dye bath is pretty much clear. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out. If I can find the other tie. Here's this skein. Where are you? I know you're in there. Aha! It's hiding, but I found it. Ha 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 ha! You cannot hide from me! I think we're looking more orange as well, which is good. So. Careful!
Sorry.
Chad over there knocking things around. All right. Usually I'm the one knocking things around. All right, you got that? Okay, we're gonna set these two together. 15 minutes on those, and then we can set these two. So, dye bath is clear on this one. It's been 15 minutes, so gonna switch it over. And then set these two together.
The cherry red garnet and the garnet.
And I am making a point to get the strings to attach the sections in as well. I realize, of course, at this point, we've moved things so far that you cannot see. So, here you go. Here's a peek at what we've done so far. And that's just looking really cool. All right, 15 minutes on this one. All right, so it's been our final 15 minutes. And, yep, dye bath is clear. We'll fish these two out.
Okay, that's the double skein, isn't it?
That's the double skein. The double skein was the last skein. Oh, it's got some white spots on it. That's interesting. just need to let all of these cool, and then I can wash and rinse them. But I think they're already looking like a pretty good autumn colorway.
Yeah.
A really cool
No
gradient.
doubt about that.
Yeah.
Even in there.
Mm-hmm. See? Pretty cool. All right. We'll be back after I have washed and rinsed this, and we'll show you what we got. And here's our finished yarn gradient. This is exactly what I wanted. This is just perfect. The shift from the bright yellow through to the orange, the red, and then that purple color. I mean, this is what we see in the trees. And we've got those greens in there because, yeah, not all the leaves have changed yet. And there's also evergreens. We've got pine trees in our backyard, and so they stay green all year round. And this is just perfect. We do have some places where we've got a little bit of white still, where there just wasn't any color. I'm not worried about that because it's a small enough section. I don't think it's really going to show up in the finished work.
It's the frost, Andi.
Yeah, the frost. Yeah, we've been getting frost. Some of the green has some blue in it. I'm not sure if that's the green breaking or if it's the garnet breaking. We saw that on the autumn twist yarn where we were seeing the blue and it seemed like the garnet was breaking into the two colors that it's made from. So yeah, we got a little blue, but you know, it's mixed in with the green, and to me it just reads blue spruce, and that's fine.
And it's not a bright, like ultramarine type of blue either.
Exactly. The orange, I am so glad that we went back and added that yellow over dye in the orange because it was reading really pink, sort of a salmon pink. And when we added that yellow over this is just a perfect fall leaf orange. I mean, this is a pumpkin orange, and I don't think we would have gotten that if we hadn't added the yellow over the top of that pink.
Yeah, adding the yellow really helped the orange come back to being orange. I guess the dye struck unevenly, which left you with more of a pink color, but I think adding the yellow over top, bringing it back to that orange you wanted, really pushed it towards autumn looking. That was a good call, Andi.
Every once in a while, I have a good idea. But all in all, I like how everything worked together. We've got a little bit of the brown coming into from the trees, and some of that's from the brown. Some of it might also be from color mixing together, but it reads, you know, looking at the leaves in the trees during fall, and I am beyond happy with it. Unfortunately, I can't knit a swatch with this because it's all just one skein, and
You say swatch, they say blanket.
pretty much. And with it being a gradient, so I don't have a swatch to show you this time. I'm sorry, you will have to wait for me to knit something out of it. But in the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed watching us dye this gradient of autumn leaf colors in our Ode to Autumn. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, hit that like button, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this or any of the other colors that we've dyed in this series. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything that we do here. Like getting to see the videos with the commercial acid dyeing exercises so you can see how we came up with some of the colors that we used in our fall leaf gradient. Mostly though, I hope you have an amazing day, and we will see you on our next adventure. Bye everybody. Say bye, Chad.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.